another cup of, that's not Bob's. Welcome to another Tuesday Jaw Time with Realtor Jeet. Today I have a really special guest that I want to share with you, my dear friend Dunia Darwiche, who is also known as the Transformational Intuitive. She is a certified ICF coach, Reiki practitioner, past life regression therapist with 10 years in fine arts, therapy, and education. She's blessed with intuitive gifts from childhood. Dunia is dedicated to help people master their own intuition and abilities through her coaching and readings. After losing her mom at the age of 15 to pancreatic cancer, she built the Sacred Bond, a personal growth program for her mothers and daughters in her memory. Through this project, Dunia is committed to bridge intergenerational gaps, heal and strengthen the mother-daughter bond, clear out the heaviness from past generations, awaken the talents and abilities within their lineage, and teach women new healing and intuitive modalities. And with no further ado, I am going to introduce to you my dear friend, Dunia Darwiche, who is also part of the Go Giver Network. And we were just talking about Cup of Tuesday wisdoms from Bob, which that cup came from. So welcome, Dunia. How are you? Cheers.
Cheers. It's so lovely to be here. Thank you so much. Oh, Reggie, thank you so much to me. So it's a blessing to be here. And I love the way you say my name. You say my name so traditionally, and it just makes me think of my roots and my family, and it just feels so good.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I know I mentioned this to you before. Dunia means world in my language. So, and you are just a blessing to this world. And thank you for sharing your time here today with us on Jaw Time with Realtor Jeet.
Love it.
So, Dunia, could we, I mentioned, your journey is something that has been so inspiring to me. And I know we met through the Go Giver Network, and then through Clubhouse, I've listened to your idea to impact, which what you're doing for girls and mothers and daughters, the sacred bond that you have built is just so powerful and inspiring. And I know there's so many women out there who kind of, especially girls who are in their teenage years, start separating themselves from their mom. Where did this spark come from for you?
So many times I think back to my childhood, and I love sitting by my grandmothers that had unbelievable stories to share. And they were constantly sharing their journey and their history and the trials and tribulations that got them to experience all this magic and beauty of life. And so bridging intergenerational gaps has been so important to me since I've been a little girl. I love old stories that come back from our lineage, that come back from our family, like the whole family just gathering around the table and sharing all that juiciness. And we don't see that very often. Oftentimes we're so busy on our phones, we're busy with our life, and we forget to call our grandmothers and our uncles and aunts. And so when I lost my mom to pancreatic cancer, it was devastating. Obviously, it was such a huge loss in my life. My mom was someone that totally understood me. We share the same birthday. We are so, so, so connected. And I kept thinking, I said, oh, I wish we had a collaborative project. I wish we could work on something together that would bring so much light and so much goodness to this world. Mm-hmm. So I decided to bridge and create this project that brought all these little modalities that her and I loved and kind of put her thoughts and ideas together with mine. I would read her old journals and mix them up with all kinds of life experiences that I was having, and built this project, which I love. And this project is for mothers and daughters, but it's also for people who have lost their mothers, young mothers that are looking to get pregnant or have young children. It's about bringing women, the tribe of women, together again. How can we learn from each other? We oftentimes blame our lineage oh my God, they're so picky, they were so hard, they're so not understanding. And there's so many little nuggets of gold that we can find through our lineage, through past generations, through our family that we forget about. That's hidden under the dirt that we just need to dig for.
Oh, that's beautiful. Like, what do you call those people who dig? What are they called?
The miners.
Archaeologists.
Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. It's so funny. So when I was a little girl, someone asked me, what did I want to be? And my first idea was I wanted to be an archaeologist. So I guess I'm an archaeologist in a different way.
It does. Whatever you want to, like, your heart, your passion comes from your childhood desires. So that is beautiful. That is amazing. So you're an archaeologist for lineages.
For family treasures. I come and help you discover your family treasures.
Oh, that is beautiful. Yes. That is beautiful, Dunia. And you've been doing such a great job. And I believe you do something monthly.
So yeah, so there's tons of things that I've been doing. A lot of the stuff that I do is intuitive readings, a lot of coaching. And so what I've been doing, which you're probably referring to, is the masterminds, the mother-daughter masterminds, which I've been loving, and I've been doing a lot of them. So I'm excited to do another one. I'm excited to let people get a taste of this work without having to, they're just like, oh, I just want to taste. I want to see what it's like. It's kind of like a buffet table of like, what is this crazy Dunia up to? And what does this look like? What is the Sacred Bond project really?
You said it's a mother-daughter mastermind?
Yes, it's like a master class that brings, I teach a lot of my work in there. It gives you a lot of beautiful exercises that you can do and implement right away from the Sacred Bond program. Some of them are not even in the Sacred Bond. They're extra exercises that, speaking of the lineage and going to find the gifts, I have people really split out the things that they're choosing to release from their lineage that they're like, you know what, this is heavy. There were a lot of heavy experiences. A lot of families have been through a lot when we look back at lineage. A lot of difficulty and challenges, yet there's a lot of strength and courage and powerful resources that come from having been through all of that. So I have people split that up and do such a beautiful exercise with those. And that's just one of the exercises that we do in the Mastermind Masterclass.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's great. So how can people find your Mastermind class? I'm going to write that down over here.
So the best way to reach out to me by email, info@duniadarwiche.com. And if not, reach out to me on Instagram, Dunia_Darwiche. Those are the two best places to reach me for access to the masterclass. And so, yeah, and I'll be putting out a new one because we're soon starting the next group of the Sacred Bond, which I'm so excited about.
So that's so beautiful, Dunia. I have to come to one of yours. I haven't come to it yet. I'm definitely going to come to one of them. And because I know I'm just listening to you every Wednesday, whenever we get a chance to listen to you, you throw so much knowledge on us, wisdom. And then, of course, your energy is just wonderful, and it just brings love into the group. So definitely, if you need to reach out to Dunia, and I highly suggest you do, info@duniadarwiche.com, or you can follow her on Instagram, Dunia Darwiche, at Dunia Darwiche. And so I'm going to take this down.
The tech guru, Harjeet, she's like a master at this by now.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Last week we had Kathy Tejanel, and she was just doing an awesome job teaching us about Kobe and our intuitive gifts of working. And then now we have you here talking about our intuitive gifts of our lineages and of ourselves. So give us a little bit of a background story of Dunia Darwiche and her journey to this.
Oh my God. So what a journey it's been. Definitely, it's been a very creative journey. It's been a lot of detours and roadmaps that led to all kinds of beautiful places that I never expected, really. I was very creative as a child, and I was kind of spiritual, and I'd say by kind of, I was that purple sheep in the family. I don't like to call it a black sheep or a white sheep. I'm like, I was purple. I was a whole other color. The family was like, what's going on with that one? And I would come up with stories, and I would tell my mom I was, a pilot in World War II, and I'd have all of these stories of characters that I've played throughout history. And my mom was like, oh, well, that's interesting. Just don't tell your father. That sounds a little concerning at times. And it's so funny to have these stories. And when I would meet people, I get all of these sensations and these messages, like these feelings. When someone was sick, all of a sudden, something didn't sit well with me with that person. And I'd come up to them with Kleenex as a toddler before I could even speak. Wow. And my parents were like, why is Dunia handing Kleenex to this guest that we have without any other explanation? And later on, we ended up finding out that this person, either a family friend or in the family, ended up being sick. So all these weird coincidental experiences used to happen as a kid, and these memories, yet memories that couldn't have physically happened in my lifetime. And so as I grew up, I was very creative. I was very out of the box in my thinking. I loved stories. I loved people. I loved healing. And so as I went along, and also a big entrepreneur. That was kind of funny, being very creative, spiritual, and an entrepreneur. It was like, wow, where are these two stories coming together, really? And so as I was, after my university degree, basically I ended up going back to university and doing a certification in coaching with the ICF, with the business school at Concordia University, John Molson's business school in Montreal, Canada. And it was so funny. I was the youngest. I was the baby of the group by far. And it was amazing seeing all of these individuals after these incredible careers in all kinds of different fields, sitting side by side with them, knowing fully well that this is what I wanted to do. I loved personal growth. Human potential always lit me up. When I would meet someone being young, right away I could see all of their potential, either in images or stories or feelings that would come to me right when I would meet them. And it would kind of flash at me, and I was like, I would meet people and say, wow, there's something so good coming for you. I could feel it. I would get all these sensations and ideas. And so coaching seemed like the natural route for me to move forward. I loved therapeutic practices. I loved doing good to the individual, healing and clearing out what no longer served them. But more importantly, I loved direction. Where was this person going? What were they creating? What was the vision moving forward? So this is what led me into coaching. As I was coaching, I was still having these very spiritual and healing experiences on the side where I would, do a reading for someone or have a lot of predictive messages, which we call channeling. And I would do this for friends and family. And all of a sudden, it started to trickle into my coaching practice. I would have all kinds of messages for clients and all kinds of feelings and things that were very precise and very accurate, that were like, wow, how would I know this about this person? Things would come up. So I decided to blend both practices together. So I called it Transformational Intuitive Coaching because I love to work with people that are willing to go through a massive transformation, a total shedding of everything that no longer serves them. And basically intuitive coaching, because it is based on intuition. We all have intuition. It's part of our animalistic system that sits inside us when we know we have that gut feeling that's very animalistic of wow, this feels like it feels really good for me, or, ooh, I feel like I need to protect myself in this situation. This doesn't sit so well with me. And so teaching people, playing with those soundboards like a DJ, where to turn the knobs up, where to turn them down, to really get to that frequency of where they can connect to their channel, what we call alignment. So this is kind of how I ended up down this path, and through this journey ended up building the Sacred Bond program, and now the masterclass, which I've loved.
That is great. And you're so right. You said something early on where you said, when I told my mom, and my mom said, don't tell your dad this. Because this is what happens. We end up with, we get taught not to speak what our thoughts are and what's actually happening to us. And then we're taught to suppress our true intuition, and it just gets buried. And as we grow older, like you said, it just gets buried underneath the dirt, and you have to dig it back up. And it's so fun. This is what really connects me to you, is because I know I've always been like that since childhood. Like the last time I could remember myself feeling myself outside of me is when I was like 3. I mean, that's like the most vivid memory I have. And I look at my daughter, she's 5, and when she was, I think this was about a year and a half ago, so she was going in between 3 and 4. She she says the funniest thing to me, and I don't take this lightly, because I do believe, like, you have to listen to kids and what they talk about. She said, "Mom, I had another mom, and I was walking, we were walking in India." This is what she's telling me. She's a 4-year-old girl. We're walking in India, and my other mom goes on the wrong path. And she says she goes on the wrong path and she gets eaten by crocodiles. And I went into the circle path where I saw the floating Vaheguru. So Vaheguru is God. And she goes, I saw the floating Vaheguru, and the floating Vaheguru said to me, choose a heart that you want, pick a heart, and the heart is pink. So you talk about purple. So choose a heart that's pink. And she said, I got the pink heart and I got magic. And he said to go look for your mom and look for the mom that you want. And she goes, I go to all the doors and I see this white door, and I knock on the white door. I said, oh, I want that mom. And because you're such a good mom. And then that's how you're my mom. She tells me this at 4, like this whole story. I start recording it as she's telling me this. This is the first time I'm listening to this, and let me record this really quickly as she was telling me the story. And Dunia, I'm like, wow, she chose me. We had a white door. Mm-hmm. We had a white door, and she's always talking about how she misses the white door. And we changed that when she was 2, so I don't even know how she remembers this. And so I'm like, wow, like this is, she must remember something in order for her to tell me all of this. And so you just reminded me of that story, talking about going through that, and me knowing how I was growing up. And just like you said, your mom told you not to say anything, and we were taught not, you sound pretty, you want to keep that to yourself. And I'm like looking at her, and I just give her a big hug, and I'm like, thank you for choosing me to be your mom. And it's just so beautiful. Like it brings tears to my eyes thinking that this is what you're helping other people learn, that, you're not the purple sheep. You're not outside. This is who we are as human beings. We're connected, and we connect through a certain frequency, and we know like when to move back and when to lean forward.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, there's so many things that come up when you share this story. Like, what a beautiful story to begin with. Like, and this goes to show the purity of having a beautiful, pure heart, and how magnetic that is. Mm-hmm. Another thing that comes up is there is this very spiritual understanding of our children choose us, as much as we think we birth them. No, they choose us to come into this life. They choose us as a vessel to come into this life, to live certain experiences, and to come through this door of life.
You just gave me goosebumps.
That tends to happen. That's part of the symptoms of this work. Goosebumps may happen. I should write that in my contracts while working with clients. May experience goosebumps.
Definitely. You're so right.
And children are so brilliant. Before we can say, no, that's right to say. Oh, no, that's wrong to say. Oh, you should do this. Oh, no, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Children are so pure in their pure essence of like, this is me. And I don't know anything else but me. And I'm coming in with my pure, just expressive, colorful me. And it's
Mhm.
so powerful to encourage children to share. And like you did with your little one, of saying, tell me the story. Let me
Yeah.
record it.
Mhm.
And not only are you encouraging her, by encouraging her, you're gifting yourself this beautiful story that you're learning through her.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like how precious that is.
It's beautiful. She tells everyone the story. My sister's like, my sister's like, they're scaring me.
Oh yeah.
My mom was like, oh, she's, an ancient person from your family.
Oh,
But like we embrace it.
I
And
know.
it's just, that's the beauty of it, to embrace this innocence and 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 enjoy the stories that they get to tell you. And we don't know how true it is, but there's something there.
Mhm.
This is why they tell us these stories, and I love listening to them. So I love what you're doing again with the mother and daughters, because I think this is just so important for so many mothers, especially shattered and broken women who need this type of guidance
Yeah.
with with other empowered women. That's just, you know, you are in and of itself an essence of a go-giver.
Oh,
And, your masterminds are just that. So I'm super, super happy that we get to be friends and I got to meet you.
oh, me too, Jeet. Seriously, so grateful every day to that community,
Yeah.
to Go Giver, to Idea to Impact, both of those beautiful communities, and
Mhm.
the members that are part of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a family coming back together, and relationships as the one that you and I have, that's so, so, so precious.
Yeah.
These are like environments that breed these and encourage them. And it's so beautiful. And we often don't get to see this very often.
Absolutely. That is so right, and I'm super grateful for you and the rest of the community. Bob Berg and Kathy Tajanel, just, I mean, I don't think you could find anything better.
Oh,
So now we were talking about intuition, and
mhm.
before we got on the call, I said to Dunia, I'm not gonna ask you what do we want to talk about, because since we're intuitionists, we're just gonna let this flow and we're gonna talk about whatever comes to mind. And I know it's important for Dunia, for this mother-daughter bond mastermind that she has, and also the Go Giver community. Um, so it's a free for you, Dunia. What's on your mind?
So, a lot of things that I want to share with the audience, whether they're listening live or to the replay, is take a short inventory of your life. And it doesn't have to be this extensive exercise of like writing everything down, but just sitting and quieting the mind for just a moment and see what excites you. What are things that you're like, oh, I just can't wait to get back on a call with that person. Oh, I can't wait to show up. I can't wait to keep working on that project. And even if that is, I can't wait to sit on a park bench in pure bliss, being very quiet and still. Whatever is calling you in, follow that. There is a whisper there that's taking you on a path that's leading you exactly where you need to be to lead you to where you want to go. Because oftentimes we'd love for it to be like this straight line. You cut through all the streets. If you were to just like cut right through all the houses in your neighborhood, and you're like, hey, make it there in 5 minutes. But the beauty really is taking the turns and the streets and noticing new corners. And it's like, wow, I never noticed this house on the corner just planted a brand new tree that's absolutely beautiful. And had I not taken this detour, I wouldn't have found it. So just an invitation of saying, what is calling me forward, and to not judge it, and to how can I ask yourself, how can I lean into that a little bit more?
I love that. That's
Mhm.
like I went to go show a house about 3 weeks ago out west, and on my way back home, I knew the traffic was going to be horrendous. It was just going to be like an hour and a half to get home because it's back to back traffic. It's summertime, everybody's going to the Hamptons.
No.
So I took the detour and went over the Ocean Parkway. So going that way is just so beautiful because it's Ocean Parkway for a reason. You see the ocean.
Oh.
And you pass the beach. So at the very end of the exit, before you get on to get, to the regular way home, there's like this little park with a broad boardwalk and a beach. And I had my older daughter with me. So both of my daughters love the beach. Stopped there, and then we got to walk, and we were just, we were messing around. We were playing, we were making jokes with each other, and then it was just such a beautiful experience to stop, enjoy that breeze, and then start driving back home. It's like it's gonna take an hour and a half either way, so we might as well go this way and enjoy it rather than sit in 5 miles traffic. So that's literally what I'm hearing from you just now. Is like with life, it's the same way. We can go that way and push through, or we could flow through
Oh,
eastwards.
yes.
I'm
I
like,
love that. Push through or flow through. And just the way that sounds, you know which one you'd rather do. Like it's pretty clear. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I love this. So, guys, write that down. If you're going to sit down and do that exercise, intentionally take some time out, give some you time, and take that advice from Dunia. Exercise what makes you excited. And I know when I wrote that down and I started working on it, Jaw Time Live with Realtor Jeet was born. And I can tell you, every Tuesday I get excited. I'm like, yeah, so who am I going to talk to this week? And
what's a really interesting thing about this too is when you birth a project that's in alignment, it may not serve what we call the 3D self, the practical. Is it bringing something in? Is it moving me forward? But simply having the energy and the excitement, it's almost a counterintuitive approach where it's like, well, why would I waste 2 hours to go to the gym? I have to drive the gym. I got to get changed. I got to get on the bike. I don't feel like it. I got to sweat it off, come out, shower, and then continue my work. Yet when I sit down or when we sit down and work, all of a sudden we're productive, we're feeling good, we're energized, we're excited. It's like, well, that was an investment of my time. And it's like, even with projects where it's like that excitement and the way we feel after tenfold what's to come, even though in the moment it's like, well, why would I do this? Like, is it just exciting me? Is there something else that's coming out of it? Oftentimes, so much more is behind the curtain than we think. So much more like energy, connections, relationships, opportunities, everything.
I love that. That is absolutely right, Dunia, because when I get to come on Jaw Time Live, no, I'm not selling real estate right now.
Run us through some properties while we were on.
or showing you the latest house that I sold or the latest house that I'm showing, or I'm not doing any of that because I get to have fun, share the value of someone else's work and show the impact that they're putting on in the world. It's exciting. And like you said, there's that unseen, there's that curtain. You don't see it, but then you do see it. It's just there, but you intuitively know that there's something so much bigger behind all of this work. And it's like what Bob Berg and John David Mann say, give without the expectation of receiving from that person. And this is just one of those things. It's just like, this is my purpose and my mission whenever I do a Jaw Time Live. And yes, I'm choosy with who I do bring on here, because if we have one person watching this and it affects their life and impacts it in a positive way, then the mission is completed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what gets me excited, knowing that we have an opportunity to help someone through this means of technology.
Totally. And it's interesting that you say this. So I keep this little frame that has my mom's name. It was gifted to my mom when she was working. And it's called Making a Difference. And it so touches on if just one person sees this and it changes part of their reality, this is the gift. This is worth tenfold what we would ever think. And it says, an old man walked up a shore littered with thousands of starfish. Beached and dying after a storm, a young man was picking them up and flinging them back into the ocean. Why do you bother? The old man scoffed. You're not saving enough to make a difference. The young man picked up another starfish and sent it spinning back into the water. Made a difference to that one, he said. You make a difference every day. And it's just such a reminder. And what's interesting is, a lot of people see it as a starfish, one person, but that's so not, I say, in my opinion, it's not a realistic understanding of the impact we're having. Because that one starfish, that one person, then goes into another environment, shines and spreads goodness, and then another environment, and every one of those people that was impacted then continues on and shines. It's this exponential effect. I had a call this morning with a great friend. We did an exchange of energy. So I had done an intuitive Reiki for her, and she did a business coaching, intuitive channeling for me this morning. I left feeling so good that I walked into that cafe and everyone was like, wow, what's this person's energy? Where did you go today? This is crazy. And I felt so good. And coming home, I was calling friends and calling family and getting ideas and just spewing out all of this goodness. And I said, wow, from one phone call this morning, all of these people were impacted, which are going to get to impact all of these next people, which are going to impact more people. It's brilliant. Yeah. So just one starfish, one person, I don't think is an accurate depiction of the effect and impact that it has.
That's right. I mean, I never even seen it like that. That one person's in a ripple effect throughout the universe. So thank you for that. Thank you for that gift. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh. So you mentioned Reiki.
So sorry, what did you say, Harjeet?
You mentioned Reiki. You do a few things. So
yes.
You're a practitioner of Reiki and what did I mention?
Past Life Regression Therapist. Yes.
Okay.
So interesting, the Reiki story. That's another childhood story that ended up playing itself out as I grew up. When I was a little girl, I used to tell my mom, yes.
I'm sorry. Before we continue, I just want to remind everybody, if you have comments or if you have any questions, you could post wherever you're watching it from, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. You could type it and I'd be able to see it if StreamYard allows me to, and then I'll post it up here so Dunia could also see it and answer any questions. Because one of those questions I'm going to ask is, what is Reiki, before you tell the story? Yeah.
Absolutely. So Reiki is basically healing using energy. And the way we would think of Reiki is using the energy of the hands, channeling energy through the body into the hands and through whoever's receiving this energy. What's fascinating, though, and what people think is absolutely wild, is that you can send Reiki virtually. And some people are like, how is that possible? That doesn't make sense. When you study Reiki, you understand a little bit of the background of why this works. So I do a lot of Reiki using audio. So I plug into someone's ears, they're listening through their earphones, and I run them through their whole body, flushing old stagnant energy. And because I have intuitive gifts that I've chosen to use as my work, all of a sudden, images, stories, and ideas come to mind as I tap into different parts of the body. So interesting, some parts of the body actually, through somatic therapy, which is basically the concept that the body holds memories that we've experienced physically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I get to see and experience through this client certain memories that their body, their tangible physical flesh is still holding on to, even though their mind and their emotions may have let that go. Like I say, and like many of us know, the speed of light is a lot faster than the speed of matter. So you may think that that experience is long gone and you've emotionally worked through it and it's no longer there, yet the material, the tangible, the physical is still holding on to it because it needs a little bit more time to release it.
Mm. That's beautiful, because I understand it. I hope people do understand it, but I know what you mean. Like, certain body parts hurt, and it's whatever you're holding back that's, keeping it there. So it's like, unless you've absolutely released it, then you start feeling better. And that's where illnesses and sicknesses like come from, through these types of feelings. And it wasn't until, like, I think it was 2020, end of 2020, when before that I used to have a lot, like, this was years, I mean decades ago, where I used to always end up in the hospital all the time. Every week I was in the hospital. And the doctors was like, "You're healthy. You're perfectly healthy. Blood work came out good. Um, so what's going on? Why do I feel all of the, like, my stomach wasn't well. I mean, I did have Graves' disease as well, and we got that fixed through radioactive therapy, and but I was still feeling sick almost every month. There was always something, until I started digging inwards. I started feeling better in different areas, where to a point I don't have to go to the hospital anymore.
I'm saving myself some trips.
Yeah. And or like every summer I used to always fall or hurt myself in some sort of way. Something was always breaking. It was my arm, it was my leg, it was my foot, something always. And my family would be like, "Yeah, so okay, when is she gonna hurt herself?" And it'd be like the weirdest way that I would get hurt, and I wouldn't even you wouldn't even think you could break your arm the way that you felt. I did. And there was points where I would fall and get unconscious, and we just didn't know what was going on until I actually made that decision to inwardly look into myself, and I started feeling so much better. And this has been 6 years now where I feel great. I'm still work in progress, but I feel so much better than I did 7 years ago.
Wow.
And you hit it on the nail saying that.
Oh, it's so powerful how the body holds so many cues of what needs to be released emotionally and energetically.
Mm-hmm.
The body speaks so loud. It's our subconscious, is little like machine and roadmap saying, "Hey, please pay attention to me. Hey, I'm just trying to let you know. Hey, listen." Like, and sometimes things have to happen physically to, like, wait, let me pause. Let me reevaluate. Something's going on here.
Absolutely. I saw one of my friends just went through that, and it's because it's the universe saying, "Hey, you need to slow down. Stop."
Let's just put a pause on this.
And like you said, Dunia, it's the frequency that we accept is what we're gonna get.
Yeah, oftentimes we tolerate a frequency that's really not necessary. We live in a very sick system, and people, we're constantly bombarded with, if you have a backache, contact your doctor to prescribe you, I don't know what, and this, and headaches, and the migraines, and the elbows, and the blah, blah, blah. It's like, whoa. It's like we live in a system that has promoted sickness for so long. So we think that we're sick and that's the only way to get out of certain things. And
Yeah.
oftentimes sickness, disease, symptoms are just there to say, hey, I just need you to pay attention to me. I'm just trying to let you know this. You know?
That's amazing. That's great. I love that. I love how you worded it. It's like having a fever. When the kids have fevers,
Mm-hmm.
it's the body telling you, it's the body fighting whatever disease it needs to fight within itself, and people are ready to jump and give some medication to stop the fever.
Mm-hmm.
Understood. You need to give it when the time is right. We also need to allow the body to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not, we're not doctors, and we're not telling you not to take anything or take anything if, you go follow your doctor's orders. But in a normal situation, like I have 3 kids, I know, like when they get sick, I wait until it gets to a certain level where I'm like, okay, now I need to call the doctor.
Yes. So there are certain things that come up that are important to share. One is, for example, fever is heat. Fever is fire, right? It's the heating of the body. The body's trying to burn off whatever's going on, get rid of all that bacteria, sweat it out, really detox. And it's like having for example, a bonfire, a little fire that you set up.
Yeah.
And when do we want to extinguish that fire? There are times where we put in logs to burn them. We have, we want to heat things up. We want to heat ourselves up around the fire camp. If the fire gets out of control, whoa, now we got to readjust. We need to retailor. Wait a minute, something's wrong.
Yeah.
So that was the first piece. The second thing that's important to remember is, oh my God, it's 4:44. I'm set to like divine timing. I'm like, it's divine timing. 4:44.
Yes. It's a beautiful time.
So the second piece is doctors are a beautiful thing. They are here with the intention of helping one heal. Let's hope that that's the case, right? But this is the intention of that practice. The practice is to help someone heal, or to walk with someone through their healing journey, guiding them and suggesting things that may help, or helping them heal, quite literally. What's interesting, though, is not many people take the time to sit with themselves and ask themselves, I'm not feeling so good right now. Before I run to the doctor saying, what's wrong with me? Can I just take 2 minutes to say, if I were to think about it and ask myself, why is this happening? What comes to mind? I'm sure a lot of things will start to pop up. Wait a minute, there's something here. Ooh. And some things that you may think are totally unrelated, it's important to just pay attention to them. Either jot them down, journal them out, go into your appointments with your doctors with some awareness, with having taken the time to ask yourself questions. Because guess what? You live with yourself 24/7, from the first breath to the last breath. There is no other person that has a better understanding of you than you. But if you don't take the time to ask yourself anything, and you're going to ask someone who's an expert in the healing field that's seen 30 to 50 patients in a day, what's wrong with me? And you haven't even asked yourself. I think you're skipping a couple steps.
Yeah, it's going to be much harder. And then you'll be more open to listen to what you need to heal yourself. I see my dad, I have, my family's in the field. My sister sees this every day in the hospital, that people come in and they have no clue. The doctor is trying to figure out the history of the patient, and then they come to the conclusion that this may be the issue. Sit down and tell the doctor you don't know anything. And it's like, but did you take the time out to figure out what's going on with you so that you could be open enough to listen to what you need to heal yourself? So it's really important. It's a two-way street when it comes to that. So yes, you're right. And we live in a society where we're always like, let's go rush and run to get this or get that. And sometimes we get that too. My dad's a psychiatrist. So we'll get patients that come in and say, we want this. That's like, no. we got to figure out what's wrong with you first.
Yeah.
What's going on? We got to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
And it's sad, and I feel like it's so important to share that it is important to take that time out and understand who you are, what you're coming from, what your history is, and open yourself to that healing process, both through science and spirituality.
Absolutely. And it goes back to one of our first points that we talked about today,
Mhm.
rushing rather than taking the detours and taking our time. And we constantly think we don't have time. We have plenty of time. We have plenty of time. Like, we always want to rush. Oh my God, next thing and the next thing and and it's like the journey is in discovering. And oftentimes when looking back, it's like, wow, that happened so fast. But looking forward, it looks, oh my God, 2 years. Oh, it feels so long. The last 2 years have gone by like this.
It did. We just it feels like, we were in lockdown last year. It doesn't feel like that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You're so right. That is absolutely right. I'm thinking like my son is 18. Where did that time go?
Exactly.
Feels like he was born yesterday and I was just holding it.
Yeah.
And it's important, like you said, we have the time, and it's important for each and every single one of us to understand that if we could take an hour out to watch TV to throw our minds off of whatever day-to-day issues we're having, we could use 5 minutes to journal. And journal and see what is it actually that I'm feeling and going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that.
And people get intimidated with journaling. How do I do it? Where do I start? I'm like, you do whatever you want. I'm a big rebel in my field. I'm like, rules and regulations and like the strict box. I'm like, I don't even fit. I'm like, where is the box? I never saw a box, So
that's what connects us.
Did you see the box, Harjeet? Because I missed the box a long time ago.
Me too, my whole life.
So, I always say to someone, I say, pull up a book that's empty, draw a shape, put in some words that you like, and write whatever the hell you want. And no one's here to tell you what to do, really. Just have fun with it. Even if you know not what to write, draw a circle over and over again until you're like, I'm going to make a shape, and I'm going to doodle, I'm going to draw, I'm going to scribble. I'm going to write words, a list of words that upsets me. I'm going to let go of all these feelings. I'm going to draw my dream or design my dream little home. I'm going to make a mind map. Doesn't matter. Just letting all of that energy expel through the body, like out of the body through the hand, is already a therapeutic practice that releases the energy that's oftentimes caught up here. So it's in here, it's in here. It's Once we've put it down on paper, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I feel like I can put it down.
That is great. I love that exercise. So I'm going to be sure to cut that clip up so that people can actually see this exercise and see journaling in a different way. You don't have to write an essay.
Yeah.
Just do what comes to your heart and put it down. And like you said, I love how you mentioned it's coming out from your body, from your mind, out of your body, flowing out of your hands onto a piece of paper. And whether it's good or bad, whatever you're feeling, you're letting it out so you can feel lighter than before you let it out. Oh my God, that reminds me of
putting it down. Like you are put from your hand, you are literally like, I release this. Like,
that's beautiful. You know what that reminds me of?
Tell me.
You know those Biore strips when you're taking out your pores?
Yes! We're just
taking out the pores out of your body.
You're like, enough. Get rid of the blackheads. Get rid of all that energy inside you. Just rip it off.
That's what comes to mind. But yeah, that's just how you want to do that. Take it out of there through some form of expression, artistic expression. So
Yes.
it doesn't even necessarily have to be writing, like you said, drawing, dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning. That's for me. Cleaning is a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of my ways of taking my energy out is when I'm upset, I go into deep cleaning mode.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes me, my family will know, oh, okay, she is not feeling herself today. She's letting it out.
Don't get close to her. She's coming. I love it.
It's some sort of expression that
Mm.
you take it out through.
Yes.
So and it feels good then afterwards. So find your expression. I would say, yeah, find your expression and let it out. Like Dunia said, just take it up from your head and out from your hands. That's beautiful. I love that.
And it brings another little point of, when we clean, not only are we cleaning the outside, it's being reflected within where we feel internally clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, actually, one of David's great friends, Tulu, speaks about this quite a bit. And the spiritual practice of cleansing the space to cleanse what's within, to cleanse the soul. Cleaning as a spiritual practice. And it's interesting because I do part of my work of the very deep spiritual stuff. This is very woo for some people, is energetically clearing out a home, like taking the energy of a home and clearing it out. Let's just say kids are having deep nightmares that people can't get rid of. Homes not selling. The energy of a home, things keep happening that are just not very pleasant for the family that's living within the home, either sounds or situations that keep happening, and how to give it a fresh, clean slate. Oftentimes when I walk into a home that's been newly renovated or has a new renovation to part of the home, like part of the home has been upgraded or updated, that part of the home holds fresh energy that can literally be felt, while in older spaces that have had either objects or memories that are not so good, that are a little bit dull and dense, those parts feel like, ooh. So even changing the energy of a space is decorating it with things that you love, cleaning out, vacuuming, remodeling a home, like literally renovating. It can be as simple or as complex as you choose.
Absolutely. That's great. Like this back here, if you see this, it's beautiful, nice, clean, white. And this is Satwinder's design.
Oh.
Before this, it was yellow or greenish. It was like a greenish, like when you throw up green, that's what the color was. It was like yellow sponge all over the place when we bought the house. And where my fireplace is now, my closet was a bit to the middle, so he broke that apart, put the closet to the side so we could put the TV up there. The TV's not there anymore, but so there was like this half a wall already, like you could see the sheetrock, and this is just like the whole room just was like, I hated waking up to it in the morning. And we weren't doing much to the house because we weren't sure yet if we were going to stay here or not. So it was like, okay, we'll do something after 2 to 3 years, then we'll figure out what we want to do, if we want to stay here or if we want to move. So about 5 years, I'm still waking up to this room looking like this. And I'm like, if this doesn't go, I go.
Jeet's like, it's me or the yellow.
I just woke up the one morning. I'm like, no, I can't do this no more. And this is just around the same time Amrinder's being born. Wow. And we changed it to this, and it did. It just changed the whole energy of the room, of the house. Just something as simple as that. So
beautiful. it would be fascinating to look at even the rest of your life. Like your little one was born at that time. There were probably so many shifts happening because while you're going to bed at night, not only are you getting ready to rest, your brain starts to be in a very neuroplastic state. So it's at its most malleable time, right as you're falling asleep and right as you wake up, which is the times that you're spending in this space. So all of a sudden when you're feeling good in that space, it's like you are reinforcing, I feel good in my space, I feel good in my life, I feel good in my environment. So while you're very conscious and you're going about your day and your activities, you are showing up so differently than when you're going to bed and you're like, I don't want to talk about it. Like,
yeah. Oh my God, that's that's so right, because that's literally what it was. Like we gotta change this. This I can't wake up to this in the morning. I can't sleep to this at night. It's just too much.
yeah.
And we know we're staying here, so do something. Otherwise, I'm gonna start painting. And when I start painting, then stuff starts to happen. Because he's like, no, you can't paint it like that.
You're like, then you better get started.
It's exactly how I got the other room done.
I love that. Oh,
But yeah, this is such a great conversation. We could go on for days. I know, like last time we were talking, I think we went on for like 3 hours.
totally. Oh,
I want to go back to you talking about cleansing the house. When you go into a new house, or you're selling a house, or something new happens in your life, something that and going into deep spirituality, something that we do is we bring our guru into our house, our spirit, our scriptured guru into our house.
beautiful.
And then it's called langar. We share food. I don't know how to explain it in English.
Offering?
Yes, to everyone who's there, right? Who's in the house, and it's really a cleansing and taking out any negative energy and bringing in all the goodness. And that's literally what guru means. Guru means gu, taking out the darkness, and ru means light, bringing in the light. So I love that you mentioned that, because this is like you said, it's something so close to our hearts as humans. This is what makes us different from other animals, is our ability to understand that and feel it. And I think so many of us have lost that way because we're just in a set, focused mindset of task-oriented and goal-oriented. Where we lose our way. Correct me if I'm...
Beautiful. No, that was so well said. Absolutely breathtaking. Yes. And we have this like beautiful understanding of energy and spiritual practices. And they don't have to be spiritual. Like it doesn't have to be traditionally spiritual. It can be just a feeling, a gut feeling. How do I feel emotionally in the space? What comes to mind when I walk in here? And being able to, it's almost like cleanse and give thanks to the space for what it has done and what it will do.
That's great. That is beautiful. And that is so right. It doesn't have to be traditional. It's just intuitively connecting to what brings you joy and excitement, like you said in the very beginning.
Exactly. Always, yeah. It doesn't have to be rigid in its definition. It can be free-flowing, it can be expansive, it can be whatever we choose it to be.
Yes. Beautiful. So, Dunia, I would love to have you close out as a special guest. What message would you like to give out to everybody listening out there?
You are already on the path you keep seeking for.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. Oftentimes we think, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're just on the detour. You're just collecting data. You're just collecting a new tool, a new friendship or relationship that is going to serve all along that path. and you are so on your way to your vision. So keep choosing things that light you up.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dunia, for today. Guys, if you need to reach out, and like I said, I highly suggest you reach out to Trust Your Intuition. And it's here somewhere, info@duniadarwiche.com, or exactly how you spell her name. You can find her on Instagram. And again, like we mentioned earlier, you can always reach out to the gogivercommunity.com. And I mean, it's something that changed our lives. There's 2 versions that you can go. Just check it out online. See if you want to be an ambassador or you want to be part of the Success Alliance. We're all here to win it and to support each other grow. So just join us, and we'd love to be friends with you guys too.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Harjeet. This was so beautiful. Thank you so, so, so much.
Oh, my pleasure, Dunia. Thank you for this hour. And I greatly appreciate you and what you're doing for mothers and daughters. So do reach out to her for that mother-daughter mastermind. It's going to be something that will change your lives. Love you. I'm going to just hold on for one moment. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day.